Well, I slept in a truck stop last night. Normally, I avoid these places, but I was in this area checking some other stuff out, and it was one of those things where, like, I just pulled in there for a minute, and then a few hours go by, and you're just like, man, I don't feel like driving around looking for someplace else to park. So, but it was kind of loud. This isn't a kind of place I think I would want to sleep all night long. Nobody bothered me. I mean, unless you consider the noise that they're making bothering me. But I've got some things to do today, so I'm gonna get busy with this. First thing I'm gonna do is get busy with this so I can actually wake up. I only probably slept a few hours last night. Let's go run some errands and see where the day takes us. So I want to drive in this parking garage up here, but I don't know if I'm going to fit. I think if my measurements are correct, I need at least 9 feet of clearance. Nothing worse than driving into a parking garage and then realizing that you're too tall. Like, I've made that mistake before, not in this van. I had an SUV, it was jacked up, and I had some stuff on like a roof rack and stuff like that. It looked like I should have cleared, like the sign, I cleared the sign, but then once you get in there, those concrete pillars start hanging down and you're like scraping every single one, and I don't want to, like, how are you going to get out of that? Let all the air out of your tires and drive out with flat tires? Like, let's go see what these things look like. Oh, it doesn't look very high. Oh man, that's low. 6'8". Who the hell has a car that's under 6'8"? All right, first thing on the list today, I'm gonna grab a shower, and then after that I need to go see if I can find a storage unit. So I have some things that need to be done to this van. So my van life situation is currently, well, it's not what it was, I'll put it that way. It's not traveling full time. Now I work full time. I have some things that I need to accomplish there. So I just recently started working graveyard. And the first thought of that is that, well, hey, this is great, because if you're doing van life, one of the biggest challenges is like, where do you park? But hey, if you work graveyard, then you're parked at your job. You're supposed to be there. And then during the day, you can sleep wherever you want. Any public parking lot, any street, nobody's going to pay any attention to you because it's the middle of the day. On one hand, it's an advantageous thing, but on the other hand, it's very loud during the day. So thinking that you're just going to get away with sleeping anywhere and having no issues is not necessarily going to be the case. A lot of places you go, it's just so loud. And on top of that, where I'm at, it gets hot in the summer. So how are you going to sleep in the middle of the day? Like, it'll get out to 100 degrees or above out here. Like for example, last year was, I think it was like record heat out here. It was hot, even at night. So my van would heat up during the day, and it would literally take all night long until like 6 in the morning before the van would cool off. And a lot of times it didn't even cool off at night. It stayed excessively warm, like warmer than you would want to sleep in. You know, if your van is sitting out in the sun roasting, collecting heat, you know, it's like 115, 118 degrees inside your van. All the materials back here absorb that heat, and then they just radiate that heat all night long, like it's like a heater, you know, one of those radiating heaters. It just puts out heat all night long, and it takes that long for that stuff to finally cool down and stop spitting out heat at you. So the dilemma is, last year I had an air conditioner. This is a 5,000 BTU air conditioner, like the one that just you put in the window of your house. Like, I have it rigged up where it sits out the side window. It's enough to take some of the pain out of the equation, like, but it's not enough to keep the van cool on the hottest days. So then the question comes in, how am I going to sleep if I had to sleep in the middle of the sun during the middle of the summer on the hottest days? How's that going to work out? And so then you start to see some of the problems I have. There's some mountains nearby. I can drive up into the mountains. That's great. But, you know, that's not always practical. And even up there, sometimes it gets pretty hot. So an option is I can drive higher in elevation, and maybe I can shave 10 degrees off of the temperature. I was thinking, like, if this parking garage, if I could fit in that thing, that would put me in the shade all day long. I could just park there and catch some Z's. But man, 6'8", I won't even make it through the front entrance. So the plan that I've got, because this 5,000 BTU, and I would run it off a generator. So a little 2,000 watt generator. It would run off my battery bank, but it's like, you know, it's going to drain your battery so much, you're going to have to run the generator again anyways just to recharge the batteries, because my solar panels do not recharge this battery bank, at least not adequately. I've bought a 10,000 BTU AC. That air conditioner, unlike the 5,000 BTU, will not run off my battery bank because I only have a 2,000 watt inverter. That means probably the generator I have now won't work, so I would either have to buy a second generator, connect those things together to double the power, or a bigger generator. That in and of itself creates a whole nother series of issues, because then I got to figure out where, like, how to put that. And I've already wrestled with that issue, and it's going to require some more thought and planning. But that's something that I can get to later. The first thing that I want to do is install this new AC. I've thought about installing it in the back door, just literally cutting a hole in the back door, cutting out a square and putting that in there. I've seen that done before, and it looks like it might be a cleaner look than coming out the back window. But on the other hand, that's kind of a bigger job. And if I get it in there and it doesn't work out, or I don't like it, now I've got a big hole in the back door. Whereas if I just put it in the back window and something's not working out there, I can just put the window back in. It's not a big deal. So I'm probably going to start with the window installation. But here's the thing. For the past, I don't know how many years since I got on the road, if I ever needed to do an installation, or I wanted to add some cabinets or change some things around, or I needed to make a repair, or I needed to replace my battery bank, or anything I did, I was doing it like in a Home Depot parking lot, or at a park, or someplace like that, you know, at my campsite in the middle of a forest. And that can work, but it's far less than ideal. So, you know, like when I built the van, I moved out of my apartment before the van was done, and I rented a storage unit and used that as a workshop. So I think this is going to be a big enough job that I'm not going to be able to do it all in one spot. Like this, if I have a place where, if I have just say a few hours to work on this on any given day, once I'm done, I can just shut the door and leave everything as it is. And when I come back, everything is right there. I can just pick up right where I left off. And that'll make this job way more tolerable. It'll keep me out of the sun, out of the rain, out of the wind, and just make my life less miserable trying to do this. Every time when I retinted this window because it was broken out, finally I'm like, okay, let me just retint this window over here. I did that in a Walmart parking lot. And of course, the day I decided to do it, the wind is blowing like 30 miles an hour. And I'm sitting there holding this piece of window film, and it's like, it's always got to be something to create a challenge when you're trying to do these kind of repairs and jobs, if you don't have a place to do it. I'm going to see if I can find a storage unit that is a decent sized unit that I can pull the van inside and still have some room to just have things sit out, have the tools sit out, have the materials I need there. And then I'll be able to do this installation plus whatever other little projects I have on this van that I've been putting off forever. I can take advantage of that and get those done, and hopefully I don't need to keep it for very long. I've given it a lot of thought, and I think that might be the thing to do. Because the first summer I was in this van, I realized how serious the heat issue is, and how staying cool is like really like the biggest, I don't know, I would say it's probably the biggest challenge I've had with my van life so far, is how do you stay cool? Hopefully I'm going to solve that once and for all. Definitely underestimated the heat. You know, if you're traveling, I did that for a while. I just In the summer times, I would go to the Pacific Northwest. It's not nearly as hot up there, and that's how I would deal with the heat. But right now, I'm just at a job that it's decent enough that I want to take advantage of it and kind of milk it for all it's worth. So otherwise, I would be gone. As soon as the weather gets warm, I would be out of here. I'd be back up in the Pacific Northwest or somewhere where it's not nearly as hot, and that would be my solution to this. But that's the plan for today, is to see if we can find us a storage unit that is suitable for this installation. And I definitely don't want to wait around too long, because it gets hot before you know it, and at that point you just you don't feel like doing anything outside. And if I don't have this thing set up properly for cooling, I'm gonna be hating life. And that's if I can even stay alive. So I'm gonna go in this gym here, grab a shower. No workout for me today. And then after that, we will go hopefully check out some storage units. Hopefully I can find something that's available. All right, let's get out of here. Some of these trees down here, like, they're all wrapped up with Christmas lights and stuff. I'm just wondering if I could get away with parking in front of one of them, unplugging the lights and plugging myself in. I mean, like, can you imagine? Just like plug into a tree and like start charging my batteries, run the air conditioner. Like, that would solve all my problems. I mean, if the outlet's out in public, then that's like a public outlet, right? Same as like a public parking spot. I'm sure that's why that's there. Well, that was a success. So the place I went to look at, they did not have any units available, at least not anywhere near the size that I wanted. So I was gonna go across the street to check this other place out. And before I did that, like on a whim, I just decided to call the original place that I was looking at. And that place was the place that I actually wanted. It was a little bit more desirable, but their website basically indicated that they didn't have any more units. So I just called them up and they're like, oh yeah, we have somebody that moved out today. So I went and took a look at it real quick. It'll do the job, so I snatched that one up because those things go fast. And so now I have a storage unit. It's a 10 by 30, and that is big enough. I can pull the van inside, still have room in the back, right? So it'll get me out of the rain and the sun and the wind and all that other undesirable stuff that you don't want when you're trying to get some work done on your van. And I can still have enough room to set up stuff in the back, some tables, some workbenches, some stuff like that, and just do what I need to do to work on the van. And then when I run out of time, I shut the door, and then when I come back, everything is there waiting for me. I can just pick up right where I left off. And under those conditions, I think I can do this job. And maybe a few other jobs. So the sun is back shining now, but I think like in an hour, it's supposed to start raining again. It's supposed to start raining pretty good. There's a jogger over there. Won't he be surprised? But I want to pull some stuff out of my other storage and use this time to get the stuff that I need situated in there so I'm ready to go. So rain or no rain, I'm gonna like, that's the next thing on my list. I'm gonna get busy. I'm gonna take advantage of this few minutes of sunlight we got here, where I'm not gonna get rained on, and let's go get get this workshop set up. I got as much stuff as I can fit in here right now. In the condition that this van is in, I can see these rain clouds starting to roll in pretty quickly, right on schedule. And so it'll be raining here any minute, I'm sure. I'm gonna try and get over there real quick and dump what I've got, and then maybe come back and see what else I need to get over there right now. And this is it. Man, these ceilings are so high. Like, I could stack 2 of those on top of each other. Width-wise, I'll have plenty of room on both sides, although this stuff is kind of sticking out a little bit. And then I can pull this all the way in, even with that rear cargo carrier down, and I'll still have plenty of room back here to leave stuff set up. Let's go unpack a few things. So right now the whole front end is inside. It might be sticking out just an inch or two, but like, I still have all this extra room. Even with this thing down, I still have all this extra room, so I can leave out workbenches, tables, tools, materials. Everything I need can just stay here. Here's the 10,000 BTU. This will be like the first project, or one of the first projects that needs to get done. Right, this is the 5,000 BTU, and this contraption presses right up against that side door, right? And then the window flips out, and it allows this to exhaust. And then this box separates the airflow. All right, so those vents on the side and those vents on the top can pull in fresh air, and they're pulling it from down that shaft, which comes all the way down here, and then through these vents, which are routed to the front cab. And maybe the front windows are cracked open, but there's a divider curtain. So the front cab is like the equivalent of being outside. So I think I'm gonna try and go back and grab maybe some more stuff. I mean, now that this is secured, I don't gotta worry about this anymore. Like, I would love to just like take a drive and get out of town. Maybe go someplace scenic, but I kind of want to get this ready to go at the same time, so that might be the priority.